It's time for Mastering Your Money with Gary Mastrodonato.
My good friend Zig Ziglar once told me, Gary, people don't really care how much you know until they know how much you care about them.
Every week, Gary brings you up to date in the world of finance and gives you tried and true retirement tips from his office at the Masters Wealth Management Group in Oriental, North Carolina.
It's the decisions you make in life when you have a choice that will determine where you'll be in life when you no longer have a choice.
For 40 years, Gary has passionately served his clients, helping them retire with confidence.
You know, we treat all of our clients the absolute same. There are no minimums here at the Masters Wealth Management Group.
Now, let's put the wind in your financial sails and your success. Here he is, the master, Gary Mastrodonato.
Well, hi, everybody. Gary Mastrodonato, the Independence Day Show edition. Can you believe it already? Halftime report coming up as well on today's program. July 4th weekend, where has the first half of the year gone? It's incredibly impressive that the year went by so quickly. You kind of close your eyes and open them, and wham, the first half is gone. So a lot to talk about on today's program. The primary theme, the second opinion. How important is the second opinion? Ladies and gentlemen, it's as important as life and death, because many times a second opinion circles around life and death, especially when you're at your doctor's, if you're off to see the neurologist, or the second opinion medical situation for radiology, neurology, oncology, orthopedic surgery, whatever the case may be. You always want that all-important second decision. Well, guess what? Your retirement planning is as important for the financial side as those second opinions are on the medical side. We're going to be addressing that today and the reasons why it's so important. And we're also going to delve a little bit deeper into what's going on here in the Master's life. Sadly, my sister passed away this past week, and she's been ill for a long time. And we thank all of you for all the prayers that we received over the last several months that we asked for on her behalf. And the Lord has taken her home with him, and we miss my sister Loretta immensely. It's going to be a sad recovery time, but that's part of life, and she lived a good life, and she lived a happy life up until the time that she really took ill. But there's a lot to talk about today, too, when it comes to estate administration, as the master is now the beneficiary, the estate executor of her estate. And there's a lot of legal things that need to take care of, and I want to make sure that you've got those covered now before it's too late. It's too late when the individual passes, especially when you have power of attorneys and different things like that in force. The minute the decedent, which is the person that dies, takes their last breath, the power of attorneys are no longer enforceable. They cease at that precise moment. Many people don't realize that. Families going to the banks and sources a couple days later trying to move things around, and they are not legally done. And ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you how important it is to know that you're legally responsible for doing things against the law. And against the law would be, it's actually stealing from the elderly when you move money from a power of attorney that is no longer valid from that perspective. So don't hide the fact that a individual or family member has passed away in order to get a transaction done. Highly illegal. You can end up in jail yourself. So before, as always, we're going to take a short pause to honor our nation's heroes, our military, our men and women that keep us safe year-round, and our police officers. Can't thank you enough, as many shootings have taken place, sadly, over the last couple of weeks, and they continue to ravage America, and lots of reasons. We don't know how long this will have to continue, and probably forever, sadly, but we need to put a stop of some sort to it. But nevertheless, we're going to honor our nation's heroes, our military, our men and women that keep us safe. They're working very, very hard around the world in different hot zones, and we ask God to keep them out of harm's way. Let's take a pause to honor all of our heroes.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
We're back, Gary Mastrodonato, the Independence Day edition of the Mastering Your Money Show, July 4th. Hard to believe already we are into a half-year point, and we are all ready to take care of the second half of the year. We're going to do some recaps of the first half, and a lot has happened in this first half of the year, including a lot of volatility in the marketplace, interest rates not dropping at all, and the market's extremely volatile in many places. A lot of AI stocks coming out, throwing havoc into the market. And most importantly, you need to keep yourself safe in your financial end. Ray Dalio made some important message notes in the last couple of days. We're going to talk about those later, but you want to take heed of what he has to say. He's a very smart man and written a lot of books on the changing order of the world, and he expects 2 to 3 things happen very, very soon, as well as the FBI keeps telling us that we're at the highest position of danger in the United States that we've been since 9/11, and that's something frightening as well, and possibly before the election. So you got to really kind of look around over your shoulders and at your portfolio and pay attention to what's happening. And thus the reason for today's show and the theme, the second opinion, also crucial, also important, especially right now in this economic environment. Second opinions have never been more valuable than today. And to help me carry the heavy load of the second opinion and why we ought to be doing that is my extremely competent and talented co-host, Mr. Jeff Shea. Jeffrey, welcome to the show. And I've gotten 3 opinions today, and you came up on top on all 3 of them. So I'm very pleased, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Gary. It is a pleasure to be with you. Of course, it is an honor to be here with all the people of Eastern North Carolina and, of course, our friends in the Sunshine State of Florida. It's time to roll out those lazy, hazy, crazy days of summer, soda pretzels and beer, as Nat King Cole sang, I think about 1963, something like that. But nevertheless, that's a good point, Gary, about a second opinion. You know, my wife just had rotator cuff surgery on her shoulder, and we got 3 opinions on that before we settled on what we needed to do. So when it comes to your money, why would you settle for the first opinion? It's just too important to do something like that. So, Gary, why is it important to have a second opinion on your money? I mean, is it something that really most people should do and don't?
Well, they should all do it, in my opinion. A second opinion is crucial. But, you know, many people out there, Jeffrey, that we invite in for a second opinion, we find out they've really never had a thorough first opinion properly. You know, they did some research on the internet. They think they can handle it themselves. And many people for many, many years have done that, but times have changed. The reasons that times have changed is because tax laws have changed. We've had so many tax laws in the past 2 years. You wait 10 minutes, things change. We've had Secure Act 1, Secure Act 2, 2.0. Lots of changes there. We've had trust rule changes. We've had self-employed payroll changes. We've had SEP IRA and different retirement plan type changes, all within the framework of the last 6 to 9 months. So even a state administration, as I mentioned earlier, a sad time for the Master Donato family. My sister Loretta passed away this past week. And we just got back from her services and funeral. We were out there the last couple of weeks to spend her last days with her. And it was very difficult for all of us. But, you know, she wanted me to be the executor of her will, which I accepted. It's a thankless job, by the way, but she wanted me to do it, and I will honor her wishes. And, you know, there's a lot of considerations when it comes to trust planning, estate planning, IRA beneficiary changes, and whether it's as simple as just a child and a couple of grandchildren becoming the beneficiaries, or a number of children and trust and charities and different things like that. It's not an easy job for the executor, so bear with them, and it's not an easy position to be a beneficiary either, because you get a little antsy to find out when things are coming your way, and sometimes they take a lot longer than you think it's going to take, because there's a lot of legalities that have to go through to that scenario. So we'll bring some of those up a little bit later, but that's all part of the second opinion. But, you know, you hear me talk about on the radio show the reasons that we cover the basics so really, really hard, because the basics of any retirement plan of keeping your money safer and allowing the money to last over your lifetime, which is really the key to a very happy retirement, is a couple of simple points that you need to cover in a completely thorough way. They got to be thorough and they got to be accurate and exact. Now, the Master's been in business 43 years. Okay, we've been on financial radio 41 of those years. On August 1st, Jeffrey, I celebrate an anniversary. It'll be year 44 in the financial services business, August 1st. And on that day, we'll have a little celebration as well. But, you know, in the 44th year, there's a lot of talent and a lot of experience that goes into those 44 years. And part of my ability to really help me along the way, because of all the changes in tax laws and administration laws and beneficiary laws and IRA rulings and all the different things that encompass one's estate and one's comfort in financial planning through the course of the retirement, because really the name of the game is to have a happy retirement. You worked all your lifetime, over 100,000 hours of work. You want to have a happy retirement when the time comes. You don't want to have to worry about where your money's going and where it's coming from. You want to know that the money check is going to be there month after month after month and on a regular basis, just like the paycheck you had to give up on the day you're retired. That's the hardest part for a retiree, is giving up that paycheck. So what we try to do is replace the paycheck you gave up with a paycheck that lasts forever, a lifetime of paychecks that last over your lifetime and your spouse's lifetime if you have one. And then to leave a nice legacy for the children if you wish to do that, and put it all into the plan that we call the master plan. Very simple. We got it down to a science. We've been doing it for 43 and a half years, almost 44 now. And the big missing link in all of the plans we use, and especially when we go through the second opinion interview with a client where they come to see us, the first thing we notice is 95% of the individuals that come for that second opinion, Jeffrey, do not have a plan for long-term care. And I find that really unbelievable. And I always tell you on the air right now, you don't have a retirement plan unless you have a plan for long-term care, period. There's no wiggle room. There's no ins or outs about it. My sister went through a tough time right now where she had to pay out $25,000 to $30,000 a month to have in-home care so that she can stay at home. I came up with a line a couple of weeks ago that none of my family members liked, but I said, the importance of long-term care is you kind of get to decide at some point where you want to drool. Do you want to drool at home with dignity, or do you want to drool in a nursing facility in a back room next to 2 or 3 or 4 other people in the same situation? And I'm telling you, people really want to be at their home if possible. If their health permits it, if we can do an in-home health scenario where they can take care of you at home in a decent way with dignity and style. And of course, you can stay in your own home and be around your loved ones and be in the environment that you're comfortable with. That would be always the first choice. But to do that, you've got to have a proper plan for long-term care. The main reason is because it's so extremely expensive. Long-term care at home runs anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 monthly, depending on whether you need around-the-clock home service or you need part-time home service. In my sister's case, she really needed towards the end around-the-clock home service. And sadly, about 2 weeks before she passed, she took a fall. Took a fall at about 3 a.m. in the morning. And we saw the fall occur on a Blink camera. And those are highly suggested if you're taking care of someone and there's not somebody there in the evening, or someone even, you want to keep an eye on an elderly person or even a child. I mean, babies have them in their room when they're little. You want to be able to monitor the child at all times. And you set the Blink up to your home computer, your iPad, whatever you want to set it up to. You can really monitor that individual from either in the home or away from the home. You could be 150 miles away or 1,000 miles away and see what's going on in that home. And we watched my sister fall at about 3 in the morning, and the poor thing, we didn't see that happen at 3. We happened to see it at about 5:30 or 6. And my lovely niece called the caretaker that was on her way, and she said she was just about pulling into the driveway, so she got in, and my poor sister was still on the floor. She couldn't get up, couldn't call anybody, and there she was. And she didn't break anything. We had her examined immediately, but she had a very sore back, and she landed on one of her sides, and it was extremely sore, and maybe some internal injuries, and those injuries really helped take her downhill pretty quickly after that. And I'll never forget, Jeffrey, you may not remember, but we had a doctor on the radio show several times, Dr. Larry Kotlikoff, not a medical doctor, but we had medical doctors on. And one of them indicated that if you fall, if you're 65 or older and you take a fall and you break a hip or a femur bone, there's a greater than 70% chance you're going to die in the next 12-month period. And that's pretty scary. Hard to validate until I went for my annual physical about a week after that show. And I asked my personal doctor, I had a doctor on, and he said, if you fall after 65 and you break a femur bone or a hip bone, there's about a 70% chance of dying. Is that accurate? He goes, yes, Gary, it's absolutely true. We got the statistics. And the very reason is what I saw my sister go through right then and there. And it was a problem. So you got to be careful not to fall. And you do that with the proper kind of at-home care. And the plans that we offer in the Master Plan Long-Term Care Plan will provide the money so that you can have that round-the-clock service 24/7. You got to buy it when you're healthy, and the plan has to be in place. Sadly, when my sister was beginning to take ill, she had a situation where the plan that we talk about now, the Master Plan on the long-term care, was not available yet. This has only been about 4 years out. My sister took ill 7 or 8 years ago when this whole thing began. So we couldn't get this coverage on her. We tried, it was denied, sadly. But today, if you're healthy and you're listening to this radio program, you want a second opinion? We'll give you a second opinion. There's no charge. But while we're doing that, we'll check your income plan to make sure you got enough income so that you don't run out of money. And we'll make sure that you got a plan for long-term care if you're healthy and can qualify. If you can't qualify, we have Plan B, not the same as Plan A, not as juicy, but at least it's something versus nothing. And that will help you get through some of the extra expenses to provide that in-home health care provider that you might want to bring in to make sure and allow your family to be in dignity as they get older and need the help. It's so crucial and so important. I mean, maybe I'm spending a whole lot of time on the long-term care component, but after just seeing it firsthand in my own family and talking about it for the last 30 years on air, it is so crucial and so important. You know, Jeffrey, before we take a break, I'll share a phone call we got a little bit ago from an 82-year-old listener. And I love this woman. She called from Newport, North Carolina, right in our own backyard here. And she said, Mr. Gary, I listen to you all the time. She goes, I do have a financial advisor, and he's been with me a long time. I'm not sure if we need to change, but she said, I'm willing to take a listen and maybe get a second opinion from you just to see if we're on the right track. And I said, you know, that'll be a perfect thing. We talked a little bit, and then she went on to say that her husband, former military, whose life was taken serving our country, paid the ultimate price in service and died serving the country. We can't thank him enough and thank the family enough for what they had to go through. And that was about 20 years ago. And she did receive a one-time lump sum payment from the government in the form of a life insurance policy. And that's been invested. And of course, life insurance money received payable to a named beneficiary, which it was, is received by the family totally 100% income tax free. And we can't emphasize that enough because unlike your pension plan, your IRA plan, your 401k plan, and a traditional method of investing, that's 100% taxable. So if you got $1 million IRA, ladies and gentlemen, sadly, Uncle Sam owns about 50 to 55% of that. And you'll see that when the time comes when you got to start pulling money out of it. You'll see that right before your eyes. You won't believe it, but you'll see it. And then you'll believe it, but then it's too late because there's nothing you can do about it. But right now, the Master's giving you an opportunity for that all-important second opinion, the all-important chance to take a look at a lifetime income plan that you can't outlive, and a plan to take a look at the Master Plan long-term care plan that does the following. If you die, it pays a life insurance number to your family totally income tax-free to cover their lifestyle for the rest of their lifetime. If you live and you can't perform the 2 or 6 of the daily activities of daily activity life, like, for example, walking from one chair to another, helping get dressed in the morning or undressed in the evening, even tying a sneaker, if you need help with that and your spouse has to help you, that would be count as one of the 6 as well. You don't need to be dead to get the benefit qualifier. That's the point I try to make. If somebody needs to make your breakfast, that's 1 of 6. If you're incontinent, that's 1 of 6. If you need help getting in or out of the shower so you don't fall and break that hip we just talked about, or break a bone so that you don't die in the next 12 months, that's 1 of 6. We want you covered at all times. That's the 6. And I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you have dementia or Alzheimer's, you only need the 1. You don't need the 2 qualifiers for that. But the number to call, 252-249-0100. Let's see if you qualify. We'll find the money to pay the premium. We're very good at that. And we'll add to that the book, 20-Minute Millionaire, that the Master is writing right now. The 20-Minute Millionaire, to show you how to become a millionaire in just 20 minutes. If you've got money in a retirement plan like an IRA, and you've got access to those monies, and you're healthy, I'll make you a millionaire or a double millionaire if you already become a millionaire, and we'll make you a 2 millionaire in about 20 minutes. We can do that. The number to call, 252-249-0100. That's 252-249-0100. First 10 callers get a copy of the book. You get the free second opinion, and you get the whole overall master plan all on one page delivered to you immediately. So 252-249-0100. Complete access to all of our 12 financial coaches in the United States, the best in the business, including people like Ed Slott, IRA Guru, Denise Appleby, our retirement planning specialist, Dr. Larry Kotlikoff. I just saw him 2 nights ago on 60 Minutes with Anderson Cooper. I was in Rochester at the airport, and there he is, Dr. K,
Wow.
talking to Anderson Cooper about long-term care. And the man's everywhere, talking with Steve Forbes the other day on television and calling the master to see if he can come on the program as well. And we said, not today, but maybe next weekend. So we're gonna have to bring him on next time, Jeffrey, I think. But the number to call, 252-249-0100. Jeffrey?
I will say this, Gary, that if you're listening to the program right now, you do not have a second opinion on your retirement plan, or especially a plan for long-term care, this is an opportunity for you to get that right now. We have opened the phone lines. I know you may be listening at night, or maybe you're listening on the weekend. You're listening in North Carolina, Florida, any place in the United States. We have opened the phone lines right now for you to make that call, 252-249-0100. It's going to take you about, I'm going to say less than a minute to make that call. An operator there will take some basic information from you and then try to transfer you to Gary. If he is available, he will be glad to come on the line with you. If he is not at that point in time, he will call you back as soon as possible. So take advantage of the opportunity while it exists right now to get that all-important second or even a third opinion. Or if you don't have a plan, get a first opinion on that. 252-249-0100. Phone lines are open right now. And remember, this one call could make all the difference. Gary, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation here with our special Spirit of America edition here of Mastering Your Money. Stay with us.
I am Jackson Master Donato. Please listen to my grandpa. I'm the Master in Your Money Show.
We're back. Gary Master Donato. The Master in Your Money Show continues on July 4th weekend, 2024. We're delighted to be with you on the holiday weekend, Independence Day 2004. And we love America. It's our birthday. Take a little time out and be thankful to be an American. Things are tougher than ever right now. As an American, probably one of our toughest periods of time ever in the last few years, starting with COVID and bringing it right up to current. A lot of messes going on in the world around us, potential wars breaking out all around us as well, and higher taxes here at home. Inflation continues to rise. Food inflation up 23.9% since the last 2.5 years. Fuel going up higher for the summer. That's up 18.8% in the last 2.5 to 3 years. Other costs as well, cost of insurance rising, car insurance, homeowners insurance, everything around you going up in price, income not rising to the level to keep pace, and people are living day to day, and it's kind of sad. Credit card debt increasing, and equity home lines are becoming to increase more and more daily, and credit card debt continuing to increase. The deficit rises about $1 trillion a month now, which is really sad, very, very sad. And those payments of interest debt have to be paid, and they come out of our taxes, ladies and gentlemen, our taxes and our children's taxes at some point down the road. So it's going to be a nasty event down the road to prepare for. Keep your seatbelts on. Hopefully we all speak coming up Election Day in November. And of course, make sure you get out there and vote for this all-important election. It could be a game changer to save our democracy and to save the United States of America as we know it today. So pay attention to what you do out there and make sure you get out and cast your vote. Jackson Master Donato bringing us back into the session of the second part of the program. Jackson, now age 8, have just turned 8, and he and Axel Master Donato, the two apparent heir apparents of the Masters Wealth Management Group, on their way to Oriental's home studio here from Raleigh today. They flew in from the West Coast late last night on the red eye, and last point, we have the same computer, Jeffrey, from NOAA that the reindeer and Santa Claus used to get their location, and they're about an hour and 3/4 away.
NORAD, yeah. We're tracking them. And those boys fly first class, by the way, too. Don't forget that, yeah.
Yes, they do. And their parents fly separately in a different aircraft.
In the back,
behind them. Yes.
Yeah, you got it.
In the back row.
By the laboratory. It's the best seat in the house.
Yeah, the two middle seats in the back.
Yeah.
The last two rows. The boys are on their way. They're going to be cutting some new promos for the Mastering Your Money show, and of course, maybe a little bit more content. We got some studio time set apart. Jeffrey's already got the time in the system and planned here at the studios, and we'll have it all ready for next weekend. We'll have it edited and ready to go on the new Mastering Your Money show starting next week, of course. But right now, we're continuing with the Masters Wealth Management Show, Mastering Your Money. Go to www.masterswealth.com, which is our website. Pick up some former shows on there. And Jeffrey, you also have the podcast going. And Dr. Massey asked me this past week, how do we hit the podcast? How do we do that, Jeffrey?
Well, you go to wherever you get your podcast, search for Mastering Your Money with Gary Mastrodonato. We're on all the major platforms, Gary. All you got to do is search that. You'll find this show and many, many of our past shows so you can stay on top of your journey towards a confident retirement. But you can also go to Google and search Mastering Your Money. Don't forget to put Gary Mastrodonato with it. Mastering Your Money, Gary Mastrodonato, and that will point you to any number of platforms you can hear our fine radio show on your schedule.
Well, we like that, and people can listen anytime. And former shows as well. You can go back and hear.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of them.
CPAs. You can hear Dr. Larry Kotlikoff. You can hear Tom Hegna, Ed Slott, the doctors that call in.
IJAM, it's Just a Mortgage.
It's Just a Mortgage, Mr. Don Graves. I spoke to him this past week because mortgages are becoming the reverse mortgage becoming more popular than ever, and more people taking advantage of them as they realize there's really no need to have a home that's paid off. You might as well use some of the equity right now for other things, and you can leverage that equity into a very nice bequeath for the children if we do it properly as well. So the number to call, 252-249-0100. If you're sitting with lazy dollars, and lazy dollars, ladies and gentlemen, are money that's currently sitting in your IRA account, your Roth IRA, your savings account. You don't need to have $1 million in your IRA and $300,000 in the bank and CDs for the rainy day and all the other things you might have going on because of the fact that you're looking to have the very best of the best. We can enhance that for you to make sure that you've got the best of the best at all times, and to leave your children, if you want, or your grandchildren, and or a charity, a maximum legacy simply by making a few changes. You're going to leave the money anyway. Why leave it for dollar value when we can multiply it and use it as leverage to get maybe 10 to 15 to 20 times that amount, all to your children on a tax-free basis? Ask them if they'd rather have taxable money from your IRA or tax-free money from life insurance, and explain the difference over a 30-second comparison that I'll give you, and they will all say the same thing. Mom and Dad, I want tax-free life insurance. You spend your IRA. So we want you to go out and spend your own IRA. We want you to spend all of your money in your retirement plan that you saved. All the money in the bank, we want you to spend it all on your last breath. We want you to be your last check. We want you to leave the children life insurance. Life insurance is tax-free. They'll thank you. It gets paid out quickly and in cash and tax-free at the same time. It's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful gift. And it's one that just keeps on giving because the interest and earnings on those dollars will pay over a lifetime and maybe someone else's lifetime as well. Want more information? 252-249-0100. That's 252-249-0100. You know, Jeffrey, we have been talking about the second opinion. Why is it so important? Because I'm telling you, folks, the people we sit down with, we got 10 calls last night. And the 10 calls yesterday from our radio program that played last evening. We got 10 calls from that show between last night and this morning, and people were woken up by the message that was on that airwave. And I want you to pay attention too, because ladies and gentlemen, the show is still playing in some areas, so pay attention to the Mastering Your Money show wherever you might be, or go to our website, as Jeffrey said. Our podcast, just go up, and I'm not sure what the last show is titled, Jeffrey, but I think there are dates on there too, are there not?
Yes, there are. There are dates on every show.
Yeah, so you can see the date from this past week. Play that show. It's got a lot of packed information, as this one will have for you, and it's crucially important. So the number to call, 252-249-0100. And on the last segment, Jeffrey, we talked about the 20-minute millionaire, and people were calling in on the break saying, what is that 20-minute millionaire, Gary? We haven't heard that in a while. Well, the 20-minute millionaire is an idea that I came up with a while back using my mathematical abilities and skills as a mathematician, and using the financial instruments we have before us that are all really some of the best in the business, probably the best in the business that I've ever seen, without any risk to your portfolio. And that's the key, without risk to the portfolio. No need to risk and be in the markets when you can get the same effect or more without the risk. Why would you want to be in the market if you're 70, 75, or 80, or 85 when you don't need to be? And that's the part I don't understand. I don't understand why people are in the market to do what? What are we trying to accomplish? You don't need the volatility. You don't need to have the monies. You don't need to have the capital gains coming in from those accounts. You don't need any of that stuff on a tax-deferred basis or on a tax-free basis. Later on, yes, but not right now. And I'm telling you, folks, we in the master plan with the 20-Minute Millionaire can do some fabulous things. So here's an example, Jeffrey. Talking about second opinions, if you just turned 59 and a half and you're still working for a company, for example, or you're retired already and you still got money in your 401k, thinking about rolling it, or in an IRA that you might have rolled over already. And you might have it in the market and you're a little bit concerned about what's going on with the election coming up soon. There's a lot of volatility, a lot of different things breaking out all over the world. Not sure the status of what's going to happen on election day, who's going to be even the candidates at this point. Based on until we have the conventions, we don't really know what's happening. So still it's a conjecture as to how it's all going to lay out. But nevertheless, get yourself out of the position of relying on an event in the world to happen that relies on how your retirement's going to be, happy or not so happy. Let's put yourself in control of the monies that you own because they're your money anyway. You should be controlling that money every moment from today on. And we can do that on the master plan. You control the money. You control the future of the money, not the outcome of the market. And that's so crucial and key. 20-Minute Millionaire works like this. You got $500,000 in your retirement plan. You're age 59 and a half or greater. You're still working for your company right now. You're putting money into a 401k. Great job. My advice to you is don't put any excess into the 401k above your company match. In the old days, yes. Now, no. We don't want to build up any more tax-deferred money. And the reason, taxes are going to be higher when you pull the money out. The old days, taxes were less when you pulled the money out. The idea was defer the tax in a higher tax environment, pull it out in a lower tax environment when you retire. Well, we got the opposite based on what's happened with the deficit. Now, the lower tax environment is today. Taxes are at the lowest they've ever been. The higher tax environment will be 5, 10, 15 years from now when you're pulling money out at a much higher tax base. And that's what you want to avoid. So take the free money. It's free. Company match is 4%. Put in 4%, but don't come to me and say, we're putting 15% in to catch up. I'm going to show you a better place to put the money. So listen carefully. The 20-Minute Millionaire. We got $500,000 in your retirement plan. We could do what's called an in-service distribution. In-service means while you're still working, we can take the money from the IRA or the 401k you've got and transfer those funds into a IRA account that continues its tax-deferred status. No tax due today, just a rollover from one plan to the other. You still maintain your eligibility in your 401k at work. You're still getting the company match as you were before. You don't make any changes there. We're just taking the lion's share of what's in the account and protecting that money against any future market loss. We'll give you growth today, but no more future market loss ever for the rest of your working life. And that's so beautiful to know. So that's number one. So we take that money and we put it into the special master plan. If you're under 73 years old, we'll give you a 20% bonus if you qualify on those funds. So let's say you got $500,000. We gave you the 20% bonus. That's $100,000. Your new IRA account no longer reads $500,000. Your new IRA account now reads $600,000 on your statement. That's how much you have. So keep that in the back of your mind. Now, I said I'd make you a millionaire in 20 minutes. If you're healthy and we can get $400,000 of special long-term care type life insurance on you with a long-term care rider in there that pays you the money in your hand, if you can't perform 2 of 6 every daily activities, we will go that route. And the premium on that, if you're 60 years old, might be, just for round numbers, about $8,000 a year, $8,500. That's where they seem to be coming in. So let's say $8,500. $8,500, you've got $600,000 in your retirement plan. We need to pull out a little bit more than 1%. 1% of that would be $6,000. Need to take out maybe 1.25% to get that $8,000 out. So we take the 1.25% out early. We take it out today, right now, and we pay the premium. We transfer the $8,000 from your IRA of $600,000 to the life insurance company and get that premium paid. So now we got $400,000 of life insurance. We got $600,000 in your IRA account. There's your $1 million. You walk out tomorrow and you die, $1 million goes to the family. You don't call the master and you die tomorrow, $500,000 goes to the family. We just made you a quick $500,000, but more importantly, we just turned you into a millionaire, from a $500,000 to $1 million to your family. If you can't perform 2 of 6 of your daily activities, the life insurance company pays you as your own beneficiary. Now you become the beneficiary of your own life insurance plan. And folks, you got to think about that for a minute, because that's the hardest part that people can't get their arms around. They're not used to being the beneficiary. They're used to saying, when I die, that money goes to my family, right? That's correct. If you die, the money goes to your family. If you can't perform 2 of 6 in our plan, the money goes to you, the insured. You're the insured. The $400,000 gets paid to you in your hand, and we set it up properly, tax-free. So now you got $1 million of tax-free, not all tax-free. $400,000 is tax-free from the insurance. The $600,000 still belongs to you from the IRA plan. That's your IRA. But the point is, you now got $1 million at your fingertips, and if you need long-term care in home, that $400,000 from the insurance company on a tax-free basis will pay a lot of in-home health care while you need it. If it's $10,000 a month or $15,000 a month, and you spread that out over 3 or 4 years, there's your $300,000. It adds up quickly. But you know what? If you don't have that plan and you still want to be in home, that money's going to come out of your 401k plan, folks. If we didn't convert it from $500,000 to $600,000, you're going to basically run out of money in 4 to 5 years. You won't have any retirement money left. You have spent it all from the 401k money on your health care, because health has to come first. So what do you do then? Now you're out of money, and now you're on Medicaid, possibly. And it's sad to go from a $500,000 retirement account to Medicaid. Unfortunately, in my practice, I see it happen all the time. People call me when it's too late, and it's sad to see people go from $1 million retirement plan to Medicaid because of the fact that the long-term care expenses ate up all of their money. We don't want that to happen. It won't happen on my watch. We don't want to have it happen on your watch as well, because it's real money. It's a real McCoy. It's family love, and you got to take care of your family. That's our obligation as a man to a woman, to take care of your family. You got to do that first, if possible. So the number to call, 252-249-0100. And we can catch this all on the Second Opinion interview. That's why it's so crucial to get that second opinion. If you don't have a plan for long-term care, we will point that out immediately in your plan. And I don't want you to call your advisor this afternoon if you've been with them for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years and say, Mr. Jones, do I have a plan for long-term care? And you're going to say, no, we never talked about that. You're just more concerned about your balances in your retirement plan and what kind of money we were earning on it and the fees you were paying on it. You were more concerned about that. Well, really, they mean nothing at the end of the day. When I deliver $1 million life insurance check to a widow, I never heard the widow tell me or ask me, what was my husband's money invested in, by the way? They never ask that question. They are thankful as can be to have $1 million or $500,000 worth of money. And when I tell them it's income tax free, the hug gets a little bit tighter and the gratefulness shows a little stronger. And that's what we do every single day at the Masters Wealth Management Group. That's why I still work today, folks. 43 years into the business, because I love what I do. And you can hear it in my enthusiasm in my voice. I love what I do. For me, God's given me a gift. He's given me the knowledge. He's given me the experience, almost 44 years next month of experience. And along with 12 of the best coaches in the United States, we are who you need to call. The number to call, 252-249-0100. That's 252-249-0100. Jeffrey, the first 10 callers today, complimentary copy of the Masters book, 20-Minute Millionaire, and the complimentary Second Opinion interview, all today for that first 10 callers at 252-249-0100. Jeffrey.
I want to remind people, Gary, once again, that no matter when you're listening to the program, whether it's nights, weekends, it doesn't matter. We've opened the phone lines for you right now so you can take advantage of this opportunity to set up a conversation with Gary. It's just going to be a very casual conversation to find out where you are and to answer your questions. Again, no cost, no obligation for this whatsoever. As Gary said, our telephone number is 252-249-0100, 252-249-0100. We would love to hear from you, whether you're along the North Carolina coast Coast or whether you're in the Sunshine State of Florida or any place you're listening to the program today, you can get your questions answered so you can put yourself on a path towards a confident retirement. Once again, 252-249-0100. Remember, this one call really could make all the difference. Gary, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up today's Spirit of America edition Mastering Your Money show right after this.
We're back. Gary Masterdonato, the Mastering Your Money Show, Independence Day 2024. Hard to believe, July 4th weekend here and enjoying it. Please be safe around all the hoopla and the partying and the fireworks and firecrackers, and keep yourself safe. You don't need any surprises over this July 4th. But at the same time, let's be happy and celebrate America, the birthday of America. Number to call here, by the way, 252-249-0100. And we're here 24/7 online. If you have a question anytime during the show, after the show, 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, weekends, Sunday night at like 12 midnight, you might say, I'm having trouble sleeping. I remember that Gary said something about this, and I need to chat with him about that second opinion. It's been bothering me. I want that second opinion. I need the second opinion. I got to have the second opinion. I'm going to call right now. He says you can call anytime, and he calls. It's now 2 a.m. on Monday morning, and the phone answers. And it's a bright young man or a young lady taking your messages in a very special way, and they are even there to chat if you got a problem about other stuff. They're like little psychiatrists. Somebody told me that yesterday. Call your office in the middle of the night, and they're like little psychiatrists out there. I said, well, that's good. They helped you out. Okay. 252-249-0100, the number to call. The Secure Act 2.0 effective dates enacted December 29th, 2022. Many people have heard the term. They don't really know what all that means. And you don't really know or need to know what that means, except that some of the laws have changed. And what it has done is it has changed the required minimum distribution age, and raised it to age 73. Most of you would know that right now. The QLAC changes, that's the qualified retirement plans, changes no 25% limit, increased to $200,000 in index. So that's a big change. You can put a lot more money in your retirement plan now on a tax-deductible basis. But the government's kind of like leading you into that road because they like tax-deferred money, because that money comes out pretty quickly. When you start to remove the money, the tax rates are higher, and that's kind of money in the bank for them later on. So they're encouraging more money into your retirement plans, and I'm discouraging that you're putting more money in your retirement plans that are tax-deferred, and encouraging as much as possible into the tax-free, which would be like your Roth IRA. So your Roth IRA is where you want to put the money, or you can only maxim out it so much. And if your income is up above a certain point, you don't qualify for the Roth contribution. But we have other ways to do it. You call the master at 252-249-0100. I will show you the best Roth IRA you can ever imagine. And it's not really an IRA. It's a Roth type concept. And it's on steroids, I call it. And it'll be the best plan you can ever set up for your family, hands down, period. Effective 2024, we're already at the halfway point now in 2024 with the 2.0. We got the IRA catch-up contributions, which is now indexed for inflation. We have the matching plan contributions can be made on student loan payments, by the way, from your plan, which is new. And the 10% penalty exception for emergency expenses for plans and IRAs is now $1,000 a year. So for emergency, for your plan and IRA money, if you need it out, you can take up to $1,000 a year. If you're under 59.5 without the 10% penalty, and the 10% penalty exception is for employers, they can offer in-plan emergency savings accounts up to $2,500 maximum deferral for retirement plans only. And we help you with all of that information because we're retirement planning specialists, and we help you with all the fine detail and the fine print on the little rules that you don't really have any way of knowing other than by calling the master. You can call your financial advisor. They probably don't understand or know that because they're likely not part of the continuing education plan with that slot or some other professionals like Denise Appleby who offer these things, and I've been members of these programs for over 20 years, both of them, and they kind of ingrain all this stuff into you so that it comes out automatically when we speak to clients. And that's what you really want to know. You want to know the best and the correct answer from the situation. If you miss it, you can't go back and make it up. So it's costing you money not to do business with the master, and we want you to not only protect your money, but have the latest information on your retirement plans, which seems to be in many cases, and in most cases, your highest savings account ever. With taxes rising, and they are going higher every day, that's just how it is. So the tax rates are going up in 2024. They've already gone up. The 24 trust tax rates increased, capital gain rates increasing, qualified business income deductions decreasing, and they just want you, every way you look and turn, they want more tax money. So we have ways to avoid the tax money, but you got to call the master and get that all-important second opinion interview from what we're talking about today. You know, one of the biggest things, Jeffrey, that we try to talk about on the show on a weekly basis, and we seem to be getting more calls from this right now than ever, is more and more people, as they get older, again, focusing on life insurance. In the old days, they all felt that you needed life insurance when the children were young, but as you get older, you no longer need life insurance, so they let the life insurance go. And a lot of people bought term insurance, 15, 20, 30-year term. And, you know, interestingly, I ran some numbers the other day for a gentleman that's 45 years old. He said, show me a 30-year term policy, Gary, level term for 30 years. And I said, okay, for $1 million. So I showed it to him, and the premium was extremely reasonable. It was $1,698 for $1 million of term, 30-year term at age 45, a little under $1,700 per year. And he said, well, that's very reasonable. The thing to remember with term insurance is only 2% of all claims payable each year for life insurance are from term insurance policies. And the reason is they're most likely not in force the day you die. The only insurance that pays is the insurance in force the day you die. And term insurance is designed to run out right before death, average life expectancy. So the insurance companies are not born yesterday. They're pretty smart. And they put those numbers in there to protect the insurance company more than to protect you. But with the new plans now, the insurance companies are giving you premiums of what they would be if you want to extend when the 30-year period is up on that same $1 million policy. So I looked at a couple of years of renewal premiums, and this is what you're looking at. So you're 75 years old now, and your term is just about coming up for expiration. You're 75. You can't really buy term at 76, so you're looking to see what the premium is going to be if you extend the insurance policy just 1 year on $1 million. Well, the insurance policy for the 1 year at age 76, are you sitting down, Jeffrey?
I am sitting down, my friend.
Well, the premium for the 1 year would be $76,928
Whoa.
for 1 year's worth of premium at age 76 on $1 million policy. And you wait till 77, it goes up another $9,000 on top of that. For the 1 year, it's only good for 1 year. So how many people will actually pay a $70,000 or $80,000 premium for 1 year's worth of coverage? Probably not many. And likely the only person that would really pay that would be somebody that is terminally ill. And at that point, they would likely pay the 1 year premium, if that. Or they would let the master see if he can sell the policy, the 30-year term policy, if it's convertible. And likely it's not convertible when they're 75 because the conversion privileges would have run out probably when they're in their 60s. And that's something you have to think about as well. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies, but you got to know how these things work inside and out. That's our specialty, and we're going to help you with that to make sure that the insurance stays in force the day you die. Now, our life insurance works a little bit differently than that, Jeffrey. Our life insurance does this. The premium never increases, so in my example of $8,000 a year for premium, that $8,000 a year when the client is 75 would also be $8,000 a year when the client is 76, and $8,000 when they're 77. After 20 years of being in the plan, the insurance company would give you your first option to get a money-back refund, a money-back guarantee after 20 years. Now, I doubt your present long-term care policy gives you that option. The only options they're giving you on an annual basis is the option to stay in your plan for a higher premium than the year before. Those aren't the options you want to see. You want to see a money-back guarantee type option. You want to see an option if you die, they pay something to your family type option, but not the option where if you don't use it, you lose it option, or not the option where if you don't renew it in that 1 year because the premium went too high, you lose it, and all the money you paid in the past, 7, 8, 10, 15 years worth of premium is out the window, kind of like buying car insurance or fire insurance if you don't have a fire, or if you don't have a tragic accident, you don't get paid the money. So, the fire insurance pays if the house burns, doesn't pay under any other circumstances. You lose the money. Or a flood policy. Very expensive today, but if you don't get flooded from a hurricane, you don't get the money back either. And even when there's a claim with a flood lately, try to collect the money from the insurance company, you're nickel and diamond. The one thing with life insurance and the long-term care type benefit, it's all by contract, it's all black and white. You're either dead or you're not dead. That's pretty simple to figure out. Or you're either 2 of 6 of your daily activities, or you can't get up and tie your own sneaker. The doctor looks at it, signs off on it, and maybe the second thing is you need help because your balance is not good. The doctor looks at that and signs off on it. It's black and white. Send it to the insurance company. They pay the claim. Within 30 days, you got your money in your hand, tax-free. And that's the way it should be with any kind of claim. But that's what we do at the Masters Wealth Management Group. We use the very best companies in the world. There's only really 3 that do the job that we like done, but only one with the full return of premium option after year 20 and then again at year 25. And that's the key. You want to have options to get your money back just in case you don't want to stay in it any longer. So we'll give you that option, and it's a great option, but at the same time, we also give you the options to continue the plans if you want to take it all the way to age 100 or age 105, 110. I always tell clients, if we insure up to age 100, that should pretty much be enough, even if you don't die, because at 100, got to be a 99.9% chance you're going to be 2 of 6 of your daily activities. I don't see many 100-year-olds shopping at the store. I don't see many 100-year-olds making their own dinners at night and going food shopping and doing all the things that a normal person will do with, having great balance and that kind of thing. And it just doesn't normally work like that. At my sister's funeral, we sadly saw family there that I haven't seen in a while, and some in their mid-80s, upper 80s, and they're walking with a cane, and they're walking, holding on to the spouse who also has a cane. And, that's about what to expect in your later 80s and mid-80s for a lot of people. And these folks have been active their whole life. They're tennis players, pickleball players, that kind of thing. But yet, in those ages, they're limping, and they would qualify for the 2 of 6 type scenario and get that cash paid out. And sadly, they didn't have it when they were younger, and therefore we couldn't even put it on them and their relatives of mine, and I feel bad. But right now I'm reaching out to the listener out there on this radio show that says, listen, if you don't have a plan for long-term care, it's the biggest mistake you're going to make. So we're going to take a review quickly of what we do in the second opinion interview. The very first thing we do is we get to know you a little bit for a few minutes and really kind of go through some of your goals and your objectives to make sure you're on track and having your goals and objectives met. Many people that come in for the second opinion interview say, my advisor never asked what my goals and objectives were. They really don't know. They're worried about where they're putting the money and making sure they got their 1% fee coming in every year. And they don't want us to move any of that money. It's almost like having to pass an act of Congress to get them to agree to pay some of the money out for an income or whatever the case is, because they don't want to let that money go. Remember, when their accounts drop in value, their fee drops in value too. And they don't want the fee to drop, so they're trying to find other monies that you can spend along the way. They don't really care about the tax side of it. They more or less care about how much money they have under management, whether it's an IRA account, tax deferred or pre-tax, or whatever the money's in, they get paid the 1% or even more in some cases, and that seems to keep them pretty happy. Additionally, we want to make sure that you're not being overfeed, so that's part of the second opinion interview as well. We check the fee basis to make sure that you know what you're being paid, not only in a bill format, but also in the hidden charges that you don't see that are actually coming out of your account as well. And they normally add up to another 50 to 100 basis points, sadly. So you might be thinking you're paying 1% fee, but in essence, you're paying almost 2 points of a fee. So if you got $1 million account, you might be paying $20,000 a year to keep that account with the manager, who might be losing you 8% a year if the markets go south, or making you 2% in a good market, because the markets are not easy to make money in anymore. And if you think you're making money in the account, you better take a closer look, because by the time you take the fee out and all the other expenses and look at your bottom line, are you making 3 or 4%? Highly unlikely. I don't see it, and I review a lot of accounts each week. I just don't see it happening. The advisors tell them everything is fine, stay the course. The reality is they're staying a course that's going nowhere but down, and you don't want that in your situation. So that's one thing we're going to look at, is what kind of fees you're paying on that second opinion interview. Second thing we look at is, do you have a plan that'll pay you some lifetime income over your lifetime, regardless of how long you live? And chances are, if you're in a fee-based account, you don't have lifetime income. They don't go hand in hand. They're not available in a fee-based account. So therefore, you don't have a lifetime income plan. If you want the money to guarantee you over your lifetime, if you live to 100 and you don't want to run out of money along the way, you want to come to the master plan. We'll make sure you're in that. So that's something we look at. Third thing we look at is your retirement plans, whether you have defined benefit income plans from the old days, if you have a pension plan that's coming in, to make sure you've got your benefits in place for the spouse. If something happens to you early, remember, if the spouse dies, which is most likely during your retirement, when the first spouse dies, the surviving spouse will have to take a pretty sizable amount of income loss, including one full Social Security, normally the lower of the two spouses. And then if that one spouse that passed had a pension plan or a military pension or other kinds of pensions where they did not have a full survivorship benefit, you're also going to take a loss there. So all of a sudden now, the surviving spouse might have a 10, 15, 20, 30, 40% income drop for the rest of their lifetime. And they could live another 15, 20 years on a lot less money, not in a very happy moment of their life, not only losing you, but losing the income, making their life extremely difficult to manage. So that's number 2. Additionally, number 3, you're going to be looking at any savings you might have put aside after tax savings to see how that money might be invested. If that money is being used wisely, those are lazy dollars as well. And I try to wrap up and identify all of your lazy dollars. Lazy dollars are monies that are sitting there that might be earning 3, 4, or 5% in an interest-bearing account, but that's it. Remember, if you think you're doing okay with 5%, remember inflation on food's at 23%, not 5%. So you're losing money annually on the cost of living. Car prices have gone up above the 3% or the 4%. Car insurance prices, much higher. Food costs, higher. Doctor's visits, higher. Healthcare costs, higher. Daily living in a nursing home climbs every single year. If you got long-term care traditional insurance with Mutual of Omaha, John Hancock, GE, whomever you might have it with, their premiums likely rising every year and much greater than the rate of inflation. Interest rates continue to rise. They haven't lowered them. They promised us a lower interest rate all this year. Not yet. And we don't expect them to lower it all between now and year end, because inflation is knocking on the door again. It's not going away. It's knocking on the door. So anyhow, we have finalization of what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about reasons why a second opinion is so crucial and so important. And I hope you enjoyed the points that we made today, the bullet points, because they're really crucial and important. And the master plan is here for you. Give us a call at 252-249-0100. That's 252-249-0100. Well, it's been a pleasure being with all of you today. We always close the Masters Wealth Management Group and our show, Mastering Your Money, with a prayer. Today will be no different. Heavenly Father, thank you for this wonderful day that we're about to go through on this holiday weekend. And thank you for being able to be an American on the time of our country's birthday. Let's take time today and just thank and praise God for being good. Even when things happen that we don't like or understand, God is still God, and He's always will be, and He's always perfect and worthy of all of our praise. I will praise you, O Lord, my God, with all of my heart, and I will glorify your name forevermore. If you want to read more of Psalm 86, verse 12. Jeffrey Shade in the other room, thank you so much, sir.
It's always a pleasure, Gary.
And all of my staff here in Oriental, North Carolina, and all around the country. We've got 20 of the best staff people that work off-site for us in the Masters Wealth Management Group, and 12 of the very best coaches in the United States people that you hear and see on TV all the time. We thank you. And of course, I'm Gary Master Donato, the founder and chairman of the Masters Wealth Management Group. See you all again next time right here, and please join us and be safe this holiday weekend right on the Mastering Your Money Show. See you next time very soon.
No statements made during the Mastering Your Money show shall constitute tax, legal, or accounting advice. You should consult your own legal or tax professional on your individual information. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. No investment strategy, including asset allocation,